mercy. Let's see. A little bit crooked. A little bit crooked. All right. Okay. So, hello everyone. Tonight is night 5 of my my reading of the 40 days and 40 nights. And so I want to tell you a little bit about this. I'm doing a marathon for 40 days and 40 nights, reading the Torah. The Bible translation I am using is called Sword of the Spirit, and in it, Paleo Hebrew pronunciations are used, and um, also the Tetragrammaton, which is the sacred name of God. I use um, I use the reconstructed Paleo Hebrew pronunciation of God, His name, which is Yehweh. All right. I know that many say the sacred name as Jehovah, Yahweh, even Yahuwah, but it was given to me in a supernatural way as Yehweh, and that's how I do pronounce it. So I have already. I tonight I am reading. Hello, thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. I have already gone through creation and and the Garden of Eden and Noah and the Tower of Babel and the story of Abraham and the story of Isaac. And right now, uh, Jacob is going to be traveling to go get his wife. All right. Hello, Melissa and Jasa. Thank you so much for writing and participating in the chat. I really appreciate it. Hey, if you haven't done so already, please click the like button so that more people can participate in this reading. I do have the other chapters in a playlist. All right, I think you can find it in my live section. I need to see if I can't try to get that on the regular page. But anyway, so I'm doing this marathon for the intent of raising my subscribers, and then I'm going to be after this 40 days, 40 nights. I'll be doing some deep Bible studies. All right, and teaching some mysteries of the Bible. Now, I have written a couple of books. One is God's Master Plan for the Masses, and in it, I talk about God's Paleo Hebrew signature right there that He wrote over the United States um, in with those 3 eclipses. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Thank you so much. Uh, so I do have a lot of when I was doing my interpretation of the Bible, God opened my eyes to a lot of His deep hidden mysteries, and that is some of the stuff that I will go into after I get out of this 40 days and 40 nights marathon. So again, please subscribe and click the like button so that we can get this message out. I am going to go ahead and begin reading. Tonight I'm going to read 3 chapters. And now the names are going to sound a little funny. They are because they are pronounced in reconstructed Paleo Hebrew. All right. So let's begin. Chapter 28. And Jocub went out from Be'er Sheba and went towards Haran. Then he lighted upon a certain place and tarried there all night, because the sun was set. Also he took the stones of that place and put it for a pillow. And in that place he lay down to sleep. Then he dreamed, and lo, a ladder was set upon the earth, and the top of it reached to the heavens. And behold, the angels of Elohim were ascending and descending upon it. And behold, Yahweh stood above it and said, I am he who exists, Elohim of Abraham your father, and the Elohim of Yitzhak. The land on which you lie, I will give it to you and to your seed. And your seed will be like the dust of the earth, and you will spread abroad to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south. And in you and in your seed all the families of the earth will be blessed. And behold, I am with you, and I will protect you everywhere you go, and I will bring you to this ground again. For I will be for I will not leave you until I have done that which I have spoken to you. Then Jacob awoke out of his sleep, and he said, Surely he who exists is in this place, and I did not know it. Therefore he was reverent and said, How will we how will we reverence this place? Is this none other than the house of Al of Elohim? And is this the gate of the heavens? Then Jacob arose early in the morning and took the stones that was there under his head, and he set it upon and he set it up as a monument. Also he poured oil upon the top of it, and he called the name of the place Beit Al, house of Al. But at first the name of that city was Luzah. And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, If Elohim will be with me, and will keep me in his way, I will go as I go, and will give me bread to eat and clothes to wear, so that I may come again to my father's house in peace. Then he who exists will be my all. And this stone which I have set as a monument will be the house of Elohim. And of all that you give to me, surely I will give a tenth to you. All right. So in this chapter, he had his dream and he saw, we've all heard the story of Jacob's ladder, right? And where angels are going up and down, and there was God speaking to him. Well, God addressed himself saying that I am the God of your father Abraham and the God of Isaac. He didn't say I'm your God. Why? Because Jacob hadn't committed to him, right? And he said, if these things happen, then I will commit to you. So he put some contingencies on God. If you want me to serve you, then you're going to have to take care of me. And if you can prove that you're real, well then of course I will serve you. You will be my God. And so he wanted proof that he was real and that it wasn't just an imaginary dream, right? And the sacred name is not the Lord, which most Bibles say. It is He who exists. And so that is the pronunciation of Yahweh. That's what it means. That's not the pronunciation. That's the interpretation of Yehua, he who exists. And so Jacub, Jacob, he wanted Melissa. That would be wonderful if you brought more people. I appreciate that. Yes, he wanted proof that he existed. All right. So let's go ahead and um, read another chapter, chapter 29. And Jacob went on his journey and came into the land of the people of the east. Then he looked. Behold, a well was in the field, and lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks. And a great stone was upon the mouth of the well, and there they would gather all the flocks. Then they would roll the stone from the mouth of the well, and water the sheep. Then they would return the stone to its place upon the well. And Jacob asked of them, My brethren, where are you from? And they answered, We are from Haran. Then he asked of them, Do you know Laban, the son of Nahor? And they answered, We know him. Then he inquired of them, Is he well? And they answered, He is well. And behold, his daughter is coming with the sheep. Therefore he said, Lo, it is still, it is still the raising of the day. It is not time for the livestock to be gathered together. Water the sheep, then go feed. However, they said, We cannot until all the flocks are gathered together, and until they roll the stone from the mouth, and until they roll the stone from the well's mouth. Then we will water the sheep. And while he still spoke with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass, when Jacub and Rachel, the daughter of the sheep of the daughter and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacub went near, then he rolled the stone from the mouth of the well and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. Then Jacob kissed Rachel. Also he lifted up his voice and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was his father's brother, and that he was and Jacob told Rachel that he was his father's kin, and that he was Rivka's son. Therefore she ran and told her father. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him. Then he embraced him and kissed him, and brought him to his father's house. Furthermore, he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, Surely you are my bone and my flesh. Thus he abode with him an interval of a month. Then Laban asked of Jacob, Because you are my brother, will you therefore serve me for nothing? Tell me, what is your wages? As Laban had 2 daughters, the name of the elder was Leah, weary, and the name of the younger was Rachel, ewe. Leah was tender-eyed, but, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. Also, Jacob loved Rachel. Therefore, he said, I will serve you 7 years for Rachel, your younger daughter. And Laban replied, It is better that I give her to you than that I give her to another man. abide with me. Thus, thus Jocub served 7 years for Rachel. Yet they seemed to him a few days, because of his love he had for her. Then Jocub said to Laban, Give me my wife, so that I may go unto her, for my days are fulfilled. Therefore Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter, and brought her to him. And he went unto her, and Laban gave Zilpah his maid unto his daughter Leah for a handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. Therefore he said to Laban, What is this that you have done to me? Did I not serve you for Rachel? Why have you beguiled me? And Laban said, In our country it is not to be done so, to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill this one's week, and she will be given unto you also. This one for the service which you will serve with me yet another 7 years. Therefore Jacob did so, and fulfilled her week. Then he gave Rachel his daughter unto him to wife also. And Laban gave Bilhah his maid unto his daughter Rachel to be her handmaid. Then she be, then she came unto Rachel also. Then he came unto Rachel also, and he loved Rachel more than Leah. Thus he served with him yet another 7 years. All right. So he was tricked. He was a trickster. He supplanted his brother. He tricked him out of his birthright and stole his blessing. And so now he was having to suffer the consequences of that by being tricked himself. And anyway, but at this point in the story, he does have both of his wives. The name Jocub, Jacob, means supplanter. And so he supplanted his brother. All right. Now he's going through kind of a rites of passage, and he's having to find himself, learn the lessons of what happens when you trick people, right? And he is he is um, having to learn things the hard way. And when he comes out of this, you will see he is given a new name. Okay, so he will no longer be the supplanter, but he will be something else because he has learned his lessons. All right, so let's go on to chapter 30. And when Yahweh saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. And Leah conceived, thus she birthed a son, and she called his name Reuben. Behold, a son. For she said, Surely he who exists has looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me. And she conceived again. Thus she birthed a son and said, Behold, he who exists has heard that I was hated. Therefore he has given me this son also. And she called his name Shemaun, heard. And she conceived again. Thus she birthed a son and said, Now this time my husband will cleave to me, because I have bore him 3 sons. Therefore she named therefore she therefore his name was called Lehi, joined. And he conceived again. Thus she birthed a son and said, Now I will praise you exists. Therefore she called his name Yehuda. Yehua is praised. Then she then her bearing stood still. However, when Rachel saw that she bore Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister, and she said to Jacob, Give me children, or else I will die. Therefore Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, Am I the place of Elohim? whom has withheld from you the fruit of the womb? Then she said, Behold, my maid Bilhah. Go unto her, and she will bear upon my knees, so that by her I may have children also. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife. And Jocub went unto her, and Bilhah conceived. Thus she bore Jocub a son. Then Rachel said, Elohim has judged me, and heard my voice also. Therefore he has given me a son. Thus she called his name Dan, judge. And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again, and bore Jocub a second son. And and Rachel said, With great wrestling I have wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. Therefore she called his name Naphtali. We wrestle. When Leah saw that her bearing stood still, she took Zilpah, her maid, and gave him upon Jacob. She took Zilpah, her maid, and gave her unto Jacob to wife. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bore Jacob a son. And Leah said, Good fortune comes. Therefore she called his name God, fortune. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bore Jacob a second son. And Leah said, I am happy, for the daughters will call me happy. And she called his name Asher, happy. Furthermore, Reuben went in the days of the wheat harvest, and found mandrakes in the field, and brought them to his mother Leah. Then Rachel requested of Leah, Give me, I pray you, of your son's mandrakes. So she asked her, Is it a small matter that you have taken my husband? And will you take my son's mandrakes also? Therefore Rachel replied, Let it be thus. We will lie with you tonight for your son's mandrakes. Then Jacob came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him, and said, You must come unto me, for surely I have hired you with my son's mandrake. Therefore he laid her therefore he laid with her that night. And Elohim hearkened to Leah. Thus she conceived, and bore Jacob a fifth son. And Leah said, Elohim has given me my hire, because I have given my maid to my husband. And she called his name Yetzahat. He was hired. Furthermore, Leah conceived again, and bore Jacob a sixth son. And Leah said, Elohim has blessed me with a good dowry. Now my husband will exalt me, because I have bore him six sons. Therefore she called his name Zebulun, exalted. Also, afterward she birthed a daughter, and called her name Dinah, justice. Then Elohim remembered Rachel, and Elohim hearkened to her, and opened her womb. Thus she conceived and birthed a son. Then she said, Elohim has taken away my reproach. Therefore he called his name Yusuf. Yehweh will add. Then she said, He who exists will add unto me another son. All right, so that is the end of that chapter. And right here, you see that there is some strife between the two daughters, the two wives, their sisters, because they're fighting over the same man. Now, Naphtali, I want to draw attention to something because it's coming up. It said that Leah named her one of her sons Naphtali because she was wrestling with her sister. Okay, it's right here. It was Bilhah had a second son. This is um, oh, that's what it was. It was Rachel's handmaid that had the child. So Rachel was envious of her sister, and Bilhah, her handmaid, had a second son, and they named it Naphtali because they were wrestling. Okay, she was wrestling with jealousy between her and her sister, and so Rachel. Um, Hello, Jay. Hey, you're back. Thank you for showing back up. So Rachel, she um, named Naphtali Russell, and later on in a couple of chapters, we'll get there. I think tomorrow. Okay, so be back tomorrow so we can get some more. When Jacob, is given a new name, a lot of people interpret it that his new name, Israel, means to wrestle with God. And Israel sounds nothing like Naphtali. So where they get that from, I don't know. But actually, if you break that name down, it means that he is a prince of God. Now remember, his name Jacob, Jocub, means the supplanter. And so when he changes his name, when God changes and gives him a new name because he goes through his rites of passage and he learns his lessons not to be a trickster, not to be a supplanter anymore, he learns his lessons. God gives him a new name and he becomes a prince of God. All right. So it has nothing to do with wrestling God. Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to share all that with you guys. Thank you so much for participating in this live stream. If you haven't done so already, hello, Jay. If you haven't done so already, please click the like button and please subscribe. I will be back tomorrow around 7 o'clock in the morning. I will be back tomorrow night around 7 o'clock at night, Central Time, and for 40 days and 40 nights. All right. So today or tonight is night 5. Again, thank you so much for participating. I love you all. Bye bye.